Welcome back to Billins World.
What's up, YouTube? Season 2 in full effect. Today's episode, man, 1998 classic, timeless. I felt it definitely stood the test of time. Juveniles, 400 Degreez, huh? Oh, man.
It's been a while if that shit was in 1998.
Yes, the album that definitely put Cash Money Records on the map on a mainstream level. This is a little right around the time they signed a distribution deal with Universal Records, which took Cash Money to the next level. Because if you know, you know, Cash Money Records was a label that goes back to 1991, I believe, with artist Kilo G. R.I.P. I believe he has passed on. You know, probably Lil Wayne, Baby Wayne, and all that. But for the mainstream level of Cash Money in the late '90s, here, this album set it off. I remember my mother and aunt had the cassette tape and the rides to the beaches and the lakes and all that, and I caught interest in it off of the cover alone. I just knew, like, hey, it has to be hot, 400 degrees. You know what I'm saying? And
was fired.
yes, and seeing the video for High, and I knew it was different. Everything had a different sound to it, but it worked. And shout out to Manny Fresh, producer for Cash Money Records, and definitely for this, for this project, for a lot of projects of Cash Money at the time. Manny Fresh don't get the credit he deserves sometimes, but he showed out definitely.
I think Manny Fresh is definitely one of them producers as far as, like, when you think like big time producers like Timbaland and Dre and Swiss, you gotta throw Manny in there, man, because he was the cause of a big ass movement at one time. Shit, who you think brought you BG, Lil Wayne, Juvie, the whole Cash Money crew, the Big Timers album, that was all Manny Fresh.
Yes, Hot Boys, Turk, all that. You know, and this is the most highest selling Cash Money album to date.
Even till now?
I believe. I mean, it probably won't count with the Young Money joints, so you know what I mean.
But, yeah. But you're talking about like solo and what's the name projects and
but
shit.
as far as solo, I mean, from already in the early 2000s, this album was at already 4 million sold. But now to this date, it's at 6 million altogether. So that says a lot right there. I stated before on previous shows that it's not always about the sales when it comes to classic albums, but this, you gotta, give credit when credit's due. And Juvenile wanted to, stay on the more street route, but I was told from research that he was pushed to make Back That Thing Up for, like, for a more like record for the ladies, because he wasn't really trying to go that route, but he realized, hey, I probably do have to take this route to be more successful, because Back That Thing Up, Back That Ass Up, whatever you want to call it,
Vax that thing up, boy.
for 2021.
Vax that thing. I wish they never did that, but
Shout out to Juvenile on that.
Back That Ass Up was one of them like, that was one of his key records. Shit, that might be one of his biggest records that ever dropped, really. Next to You Understand, and what was the other one? Rodeo.
Yeah,
and
Rodeo.
Shit like that. Like, really.
Slow Motion.
I mean, off that album, really, other than Ha, because Ha came out. I remember when 400 Degreez came out, really. Ha came out, people was listening to it and shit like that, but they more or less so were listening to it and banging it because of the way it was, like the way he was rapping it. And Juvie later on came out and said that he approached that record like how an old man would talk to a youngin. Like,
wow, I definitely see that.
So
yes.
that the way he was flowing on it, the reason it had that awkward flow is because he approached the record like an older man talking to, like, youngins and shit. Like, that's why he was like, you got it, man, me, huh? No, I ain't tripping because your man got the mean, huh? He basically saying, like, that's how the older jokers used to talk to them when they was young. So that's how he approached the record. But it was one of the biggest records. Like the video, everything. It was one of the biggest records. Without that record, I don't know if 400 Degrees would have went where it went because, bro, you could drop that motherfucker record anywhere at any time at any moment, and motherfuckers is getting up and shaking that ass to it. Till this day, they still doing it. One of the biggest records on there. I don't think it's the best record on that album, but it's one of the biggest records.
Yeah, my personal favorite track is the title track, 400 Degrees. I mean, and that's Manny Fresh doing like an auto-tune-ish type thing, and even as the record's ending with the instrumental, it's just like I listen to that till the record's completely over. And just ended with the 400 Degrees. Like, no.
Be stupid for it.
And so let's not forget that this is a time when especially New York, is on fire, from Cameron, DMX, Nori, Big Pun, Jay-Z, all that, and this album was still able to like pow, like, and of course we get Jay-Z on the Ha remix, and Juvenile was really happy that had happened and everything. He kind of was on some wow, like that shows like, Jay has showed an interest in it because he possibly maybe recorded that verse probably without, on his own terms, probably without asking for permission.
Like always, right?
Yeah, Daryl Strawberry get down.
Oh, Camel Vulture. Anyway,
ready B? Another B. Anyway, this is 400 Degrees right here. Billins World. Like, comment, subscribe. It's that 400 Degrees is definitely a classic. Like I mentioned earlier, his standard the test of time and everything.
Key records for me because I'm a Cash Money fan. Big Cash Money fan. Shit, I even redid the 400 Degrees album. I had the beat remade and everything. I mean the song.
Yeah, check that out.
680 Degrees. Go check that out. But to me, the key songs on that of 400 Degrees, Back That Ass Up, On Fire,
Ride With Me.
Ride With Me. Ride With Me I think is really one of those sleeper records. Like, you gotta really listen to the beat and everything, but the way he was flowing on it, I'm talking 600 for some yo. Mother 29, like all of that shit that he was doing on that shit, that's what made that record that, like, Juvie has a lot of good music on this 400 Degrees album. If you never checked it out and you want to be a student of the game, go check out 400 Degrees. The shit was fire.
Yes, and you might have people that were more fans of the Lil Wayne, Young Money era, but come on, man, you can't forget where it had started to get, Cash Money on the mainstream level.
Well, Juvie was the one that broke through for them. Without Juvie, they wouldn't, because they had albums that they put out before. Soldier Rags was put out by Juvenile before that. They had a Hot Boy album that they put out before that. They had I think Wayne, did Wayne put out an album? No, Wayne didn't put out an album. BG put out an album before that. They had the Big Timers album before that. They didn't really break through until Juvie put out Back That Ass Up, in 400 Degrees. 400 Degrees was the album that really put Cash Money and them on the map. I mean, now, at the time, don't forget, New Orleans already had a buzz because of Master P and No Limit.
Absolutely. I'm a huge No Limit fan as a kid. I never, I don't want to make it about like, oh, who was better, whatever. But New Orleans was already, stomping the pavement.
Yeah. But, so that helped them as well. So I'm not saying that Cash Money. I'm not saying Cash Money broke through everything for New Orleans, but excuse me, they were definitely one of those key moments, key characters to get in New Orleans to the next level. I mean, you wouldn't have Wayne without Juvie. You wouldn't have Drake, Young Thug, and the rest of those Cash Money stars if you didn't have that Juvenile 400 Degrees album.
Yeah, even people like Webby, Lil Boosie,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
all that.
Keep it real with you. Yeah. Boosie kept him going too after the Cash Money era and stuff like that. But the Cash Money era really like opened the door for a lot of the New Orleans artists as well as No Limit and Master P and stuff like that. Because Master P really set it off. But Juvie at 400 Degreez, it took it to the next level because it was a different sound. It was a different culture. It was different everything, but everybody took heed to it because it was still fresh. It still sounded good. Like
Yes.
It sounded real good.
And would pave the way for back to back, man, many Cash Money albums up until the Young Money era, you know. So pretty consistent. And regardless of how you feel, you know, even shout out to the CEO himself, Birdman, you know, Brian Williams, you know.
I ain't know his name was Brian Williams. I ain't never really cared to know his fucking name.
Yeah, the brother is Trigger Slim, so Williams. Yeah.
He's the number one stunner. That's all I'll say.
Yes, this you know, and just for not just for New Orleans, for the South as a whole, to take off and everything. And hey, like I said, it paved the way, and it was up from there. So salute to Juvenile, Cash Money Records, all that. So
Juvie, I think this album, man, like for the most part, like when we were coming up, you had to like people liked certain sections and groups and stuff like that. So you were either a Rockefeller fan, a Rough Rider fan, or a Cash Money fan. Now, I liked all three, but the main people like I was like Cash Money. Like I really was.
I believe it was a Rough Rider Cash Money tour back then. Imagine being present for that.
Yeah. I wish I could have been in that motherfucker.
R.I.P. DMX.
That probably was one of the other than the Rockefeller tour, that probably was one of the biggest hip hop tours you could have ever attended or went to. You know what I mean? And it all really started from this Juvie album, man. Like you really got all of that from this Juvie album.
Yes, Juvenile had to come, you know, to understanding that he has to make more like, you know, records for the ladies or whatever, or radio records, and
yeah, but
know,
to keep it real with you, the only like
Yeah.
Back That Ass Up worked and all the rest of that stuff, but even if he I don't know if it would have shot to the sky, because you got to remember, like at this time and stuff when Cash Money was hot, Lil Wayne put out The Block Is Hot, you know, and like other than the song The Block Is Hot, and he had some other stuff on there too, but nothing that had that like Back That Ass Up effect. You know what I mean? Like that pop. So I'm telling you, this album is key, and one of the main reasons why you have Drake, Young Thug, and a lot of other big Cash Money artists, Nicki Minaj and all of that, because this Cash Money really popped and started with this 400 Degreez album, and to me, it's a classic album. It's a good album. From 1 to 10, I'll probably give it like a 9.
Probably a 7 for me. You know, I give it credit when credit's due, of it being a classic and all. But me personally, I probably would prefer like the other artists and albums that I mentioned earlier that were also hot for that year of '98, because that's like, you know, an unforgettable year for hip hop as a whole. But it worked, man. Juvenile would even appear. Rough Rider, Ride or Die Volume 1 album for the song Down Bottom. Shout out to Dragon, you know that. So Juvenile had that buzz, man, and we just had to respect it. And you know, it caught my ear, caught my attention, like, you know, and that cassette tape might be still somewhere in my mother's house.
I don't know how I could like the cover alone would make
Timeless,
you
man.
want to be like, what's this?
Like, and you know, and it might be up for debate if an album cover.
Oh, Flossing Season. I forgot about Flossing Season.
Yeah.
Flossing
A lot
Season.
of posse cuts on this, you know,
Yeah.
too. So we had a little of the other Cash Money members as well.
That Juvenile on Fire shit though. That's one.
And let's not forget Follow Me Now, but it's on. It might not, always be available, whatever. But that was also on this album.
Now, Follow Me Now is one of them records too. That was a big record on that album too.
Another production on it. Yeah, a lot of production on that.
Yeah, like they took like a Spanish record and twisted it. Hey, look, listen. You guys make sure that you check out every other episode of Billins World on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and etc.
Yeah.
We are now on the digital platforms as well. Make sure to tune into our next show.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, there you go. I started going towards the end, and I didn't want to say that without doing, because I've been wanting to plug that for a while.